A simple old man, humiliated while making a deposit, was treated as an outsider in a prestigious bank. The manager pointed at him, demanding he leave, but when it was revealed that he had saved a fortune over his lifetime and his grandson was a renowned billionaire, the entire bank was stunned, forever changing how they judged others. The gleaming marble floors of Atlantic National Bank reflected the morning sunlight as John Smith approached the entrance. At 78, dressed in worn gray pants and a plain shirt, he carried himself with quiet confidence despite his modest appearance. Beside him walked his grandson, Michael Smith, a 42-year-old in a sharp navy suit with subtle platinum cufflinks that hinted at his status. Michael had built Smith Capital into one of the nation's top investment firms, though he wore his success with understated dignity. "Are you sure you want to handle this alone?" Michael asked, glancing at his watch. "Absolutely," John smiled, patting his hand. "I've always managed my own affairs. That was our deal." Their relationship was built on mutual respect. Despite access to immense wealth through his grandson, John chose to live simply, saving every dollar for a dream he rarely spoke of. "I'll take a call from London in the lobby while you get started," Michael said. "It won't take long." They entered the bank together, eliciting contrasting reactions. Several employees straightened at the sight of Michael's suit, while John's humble attire drew barely concealed looks of confusion. Today's visit was unusual. John typically moved money through his grandson, but now he intended to open an account in person, bringing cash and documents that required his presence. As John approached the service desk, Michael stepped aside to take his call, his voice fading as he discussed strategies with his team in Europe. The morning light caught John's plain wedding band as he reached Rebecca Thompson, the customer service manager. Her perfectly styled blonde hair and crisp white blouse projected polished professionalism, though the tightness around her eyes betrayed inner stress. Neither realized this routine transaction would become an unforgettable lesson in bias and consequences. Rebecca Thompson was having a rough morning. The promotion she'd spent years chasing had gone to a colleague from another branch. Carefully applied makeup hid the redness around her eyes, but her forced smile revealed her irritation. Spotting John in his worn pants and shirt, she immediately pegged him as someone who'd wandered into the wrong place. Atlantic National wasn't just any bank. It was where Boston's elite conducted their financial affairs. "Good morning," John said calmly. "I'd like to deposit money and open an account." Rebecca's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Do you currently have an account with us?" Her tone carried subtle doubt. "No, this will be a new one," John explained, placing a stack of cash and documents on the desk. "These are my savings. I've been putting them aside my whole life for something big." Rebecca glanced at the amount. Her eyebrows rose slightly at the six-figure sum. Her expression shifted from dismissive to suspicious. "That's a substantial deposit," she said, not touching the money. "May I ask where these funds came from?" "I saved them over 50 years, John replied. "The papers are all here, receipts, statements." A few clients at nearby desks began to notice the exchange. Rebecca's sharp, loud voice drew attention. "I'm sorry, but we don't typically open accounts for sums like this without thorough verification," she said, raising her tone. "Perhaps there's been a mistake about our institution." John stayed calm, though his cheeks flushed slightly. "I called ahead. They said all the documents were in order," he replied, pointing to the folder. Rebecca's smile tightened. "Mr. Smith, is it? Atlantic National serves a particular clientele. Our wealthy customers expect a certain atmosphere." She gestured vaguely at his clothes. "I'm not convinced this is the right banking relationship for someone of your profile." Her words landed like a slap. Several clients paused their transactions to watch. A young bank associate shifted uncomfortably, unsure whether to step in. "Is there an issue with the documents?" John asked, his voice quieter but steady. Rebecca's gaze sharpened. "Let's be frank. $250,000 is a serious amount. People handling legitimate transactions of that size don't usually show up looking like they just came from the backyard. It raises questions." John's eyes widened. "I've saved this money for half a century. Worked at a factory. Tracked every cent." Rebecca leaned forward, her voice dropping to a stage whisper still audible to those nearby. "Perhaps you should try a different institution, one more accustomed to your type of clientele. I'd hate to escalate this." The threat was thinly veiled. Clients now openly watched, some with disapproval, others with curiosity. "Are you refusing my deposit?" John asked, struggling to stay composed. Rebecca raised a finger, pointing at him dismissively. "I'm suggesting you leave before I need to call security. We take potential financial irregularities seriously at Atlantic National." The accusation hung in the air. John froze, color draining from his face as he felt the weight of the onlookers' stares. Across the lobby, Michael ended his call and turned, his expression shifting instantly as he registered the scene. Michael Smith cut his call short, drawn by the unmistakable tension across the lobby. Even from a distance, he saw John's rigid stance and paling face. The blonde manager leaned forward aggressively, pointing at his grandfather in a gesture of clear disdain. For a moment, Michael observed with the calculated patience that had made him a business legend. Then he crossed the marble floor with measured steps, his presence sparking subtle recognition. A guard straightened. An associate did a double-take. He caught fragments of Rebecca's words as he approached. "Clearly not the type of client we cater to. Take your so-called honest savings elsewhere." "Is there a problem here?" Michael asked, his voice quiet but carrying undeniable authority. Rebecca turned, irritation flickering across her face, but it froze as she registered the impeccable navy suit, platinum cufflinks, and air of confidence money couldn't buy. She began, snapping on a customer service smile. "Sir, I'm handling a situation with this person." Michael stepped beside John, resting a hand on his shoulder. "It seems you're handling a situation with my grandfather." The words landed like a thunderclap before silence. Rebecca's face transformed. Confusion gave way to recognition, then horror as the implications sank in. "Your grandfather?" she repeated, her voice jumping an octave. "Yes," Michael confirmed. "John Smith, who saved this money his whole life." Rebecca paled, her gaze darting between John's humble clothes and Michael's expensive suit, her world realigning at dizzying speed. "This is a terrible misunderstanding," she stammered, realizing he was Michael Smith of Smith Capital. "Humiliating him over his appearance isn't a misunderstanding," Michael said coolly. Rebecca's hands fluttered nervously. "Sir, I was just following protocol for large deposits." "By accusing him of fraud? Threatening security?" Michael interrupted, his voice carrying through the now silent lobby. The commotion drew attention bank-wide. From his office overlooking the floor, Walter Johnson, the bank president, noticed the growing crowd. His eyes narrowed as he recognized Michael Smith, not just a client, but one whose accounts held over $300 million in deposits and investments. "Mr. Smith, please," Rebecca pleaded, her professionalism crumbling. "If I'd known." "That's exactly the issue," John interjected, his quiet dignity returning. "It's not how you treated me specifically, it's that you think respect depends on how someone looks." Michael nodded. He could have walked in wearing a suit, flashing wealth. He didn't, because he believes character matters more than appearances. A murmur rippled through the onlookers, some nodding in agreement. "What's happening here?" Walter's authoritative voice cut through as he approached, his expression shifting from concern to recognition. "Mr. Smith, this is an unexpected pleasure." "Walter," Michael acknowledged with a slight nod. "I wish I could say the same. My grandfather just faced treatment I can't reconcile with our 15-year banking relationship." Inside Walter's office, Rebecca stood trembling as he gestured emphatically, his words heavy with gravity. The bank hushed, eyes tracking the drama. A young associate, Thomas, stepped forward with purpose. "Mr. Smith, I'd be honored to process your deposit," he offered, his voice laced with respect. "My uncle saved like you, but a bank once turned him away for his looks." "What's his name?" John asked softly. "James," Thomas replied with pride. "He opened a workshop, thanks to people like you." The office door swung open. Rebecca emerged, composure fragile, followed by Walter, his face etched with the weight of institutional failure. "Mr. and Mr. Smith, a moment, please," he said, gesturing to a private room. Behind closed doors, he took a deep breath. "Please accept my profound apology. This isn't just one mistake. It's a cultural flaw I find troubling." Michael remained composed. 15 years of partnership brought you billions. This goes beyond today." John added, "I wasn't mistreated because I'm your client. I was judged for not fitting their mold. How many others face this?" Walter nodded. "What do you suggest?" "Bias training for all staff," John said firmly. "Respect shouldn't depend on clothes. It's non-negotiable." "And Miss Thompson?" Michael asked. "She's off client-facing roles, effective immediately," Walter replied. "Her future here hinges on understanding her error." Thomas entered with the paperwork. "It's done," he said, adding, "Your money will help so many." Walter paused. "We'll start changes. This isn't just an apology. It's a chance to fix the system."